The autumn wind rustled through the maple trees lining Cedar Street, sending red and yellow leaves cascading onto the well-manicured lawns of suburban Boston. The sky was painted in hues of orange as the sun prepared to set, creating a peaceful scene, one that seemed untouched by the chaos of the world. In a small bedroom on the second floor of a colonial-style house, 7-year-old Ethan Baker sat cross-legged on the floor, carefully arranging his Hot Wheels collection by color. The late afternoon sunlight streamed through the window, casting long shadows across the green carpet, forming intricate patterns. He was fully engrossed in his task when suddenly a piercing sound echoed from down the hallway. A scream. Ethan froze. It was his 15-year-old sister, Emily. Her voice rang out from their stepfather's room, a scream filled with terror that sent Ethan's heart racing. He didn't understand what was happening, but his instincts told him something was terribly wrong. He scrambled to his feet, his eyes darting around the room in panic. Their mother wasn't home. She was working the night shift at the hospital. It was just him, Emily, and their stepfather. Fear crept into his chest, but he knew he had to act. Ethan ran to his desk, grabbed the old phone his mother had left in his room, and with trembling fingers, dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? A calm voice answered on the other end. Ethan swallowed hard, trying to steady himself. My name is Ethan Baker. I just heard my sister scream from my stepdad's room. I'm scared. The dispatcher immediately recognized the urgency in his voice. Ethan, can you tell me more? Did you hear anything else? Are you somewhere safe? I don't know. But Emily has never screamed like that before. I think she's in danger. All right, Ethan. We've sent officers to your home. Can you stay in your room? Ethan nodded, even though he knew they couldn't see him. Yes. The next 5 minutes felt like an eternity. Then the sound of hurried footsteps filled the staircase, followed by loud pounding on the front door. This is the police! Open up! Ethan heard movement from his stepfather's room before the door suddenly swung open. As the officers rushed inside, everyone was stunned by what they saw. Emily sat curled up on the floor, her arms wrapped tightly around her trembling body. Her wide eyes were filled with terror, tears streaking down her face. Their stepfather stood in the middle of the room, his face pale, his expression a mix of anger and confusion. On the floor, a broken picture frame lay in shards, shattered glass scattered across the hardwood. One of the officers stepped forward, his voice firm. What happened here? Emily looked around as if searching for a way to escape. She pressed her lips together, clutching her hands so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Nothing happened. I just tripped. But Ethan knew that wasn't true. He could feel that something was deeply wrong in this room. He stared at his stepfather, the man he had never truly felt comfortable around. The uneasy feeling in his stomach grew stronger. The officer turned to Ethan. You were the one who called 911, right? Ethan nodded. I heard her scream. I was scared for her. Emily suddenly looked at him, her teary eyes glistening with emotion. But instead of gratitude, she seemed like she wanted to say something but couldn't bring herself to. Their stepfather forced a tense smile, but it did nothing to mask the nervousness in his movements. The officer's sharp eyes scanned the room, finally landing on the faint marks on Emily's arm. Are you sure you just tripped, Emily? His voice was gentler this time, filled with patient persistence. Emily lowered her head, another tear slipping silently down her cheek. Ethan knew he had to do something. He clenched his small fists and looked at Emily with unwavering determination. I heard him yelling before she screamed. I heard something break. I know she's scared. Emily looked up, and for the first time, true gratitude flickered in her gaze. She turned to the officer, her lips trembling. I'm not okay. I don't want to be here anymore. The officer gave her a reassuring nod and motioned for his colleague to escort her out of the room. Richard Collins tightened his fists but remained silent, knowing everything was crumbling around him. Ethan quickly ran after his sister, grasping her hand as they were led to the police car. He knew their lives were about to change forever, but he also knew he had done the right thing. Emily knelt beside him, whispering, Thank you, Ethan. You're the bravest person I know. As the car doors shut, they knew a new chapter of their lives was beginning, one where they would no longer have to live in fear. The days that followed were challenging for Emily and Ethan. They had to speak with the police, social workers, and confront painful memories. Emily was placed in a support program for abuse survivors, where she slowly found peace again. Ethan, though still young, was given counseling to help him understand that none of this was his fault. Their mother, upon learning the truth, was devastated that she hadn't seen the signs sooner. She immediately cut all ties with Richard, focusing entirely on caring for her children. Over time, Emily began to heal. She found strength within herself, joining community groups to help others who had suffered similar experiences. Ethan, with his courage, learned to face his fears. Together, the siblings walked forward on a new path, a path filled with hope and freedom.